Your soil doesn't collapse in a dramatic way, it doesn't announce its failure, it simply goes quiet. Plants stop responding the way they used to, water pools on the surface instead of sinking in, growth looks acceptable on the outside but, it lacks real strength underneath. And while you're busy adjusting fertilizers or watering schedules, the real warning sign stays hidden below ground. The worms are gone. Not because you ignored your garden, but because you followed advice almost every gardener is taught from day one. Here on Crop Corner, we talk about gardening that works with nature, not against it, and today, this is one of those uncomfortable truths that can completely change how you grow food once you see it clearly. Why worms are the real engine of fertile soil. Healthy soil is not built by nutrients alone, it is built by life. Worms sit at the center of that underground system. When worms are active, soil breathes properly, water moves downward instead of running off. Roots find easy pathways deep into the ground. Microbes thrive along permanent tunnels that worms create over months and years. Worms don't just live in soil, they manufacture it. As they consume decomposing organic matter, they produce castings that hold nutrients in plant-ready forms. These nutrients feed steadily instead of flooding roots all at once. Castings also improve soil structure, making it crumbly, resilient, and resistant to compaction. This is not something you can replace with bottled inputs. You can only protect it or destroy it. When worms disappear, the entire system struggles. Roots hit resistance, microbial activity drops, fertility becomes something you constantly buy rather than something the soil creates for you. The common habit that silently drives worms away, well, it's actually the most damaging routine in modern gardening, and that's the combination of synthetic fertilizers and frequent deep tilling. These practices are so normalized that, honestly, they feel responsible. Plants green up fast, beds look neat, soil feels loose for a short time, but underground, conditions become hostile. Synthetic fertilizers are concentrated salts. Worms breathe directly through their skin, which means anything dissolved in soil moisture affects them immediately. When salt levels spike, moisture is pulled from their bodies. Even if plants respond with rapid growth, worms experience chemical stress. They do not feed on synthetic nutrients, they actively avoid them. Over time they migrate away or die off. So, tilling multiplies the damage. Every deep pass, destroys tunnel systems that took months to build. Worms are exposed to light, heat, predators, and drying air. From their perspective, the soil is never stable. There's just no safe place to settle, feed, or reproduce. Eventually, they abandon the area entirely. Once worms leave, soil compacts faster, drains poorly, and loses its ability to regulate nutrients naturally. What looks like clean managed soil on the surface becomes, honestly, lifeless underneath. Why fast plant growth can be misleading. One of the biggest traps gardeners fall into is confusing quick growth with healthy growth. Synthetic fertilizers deliver nutrients in a rush. Plants respond with sudden green growth, but that growth often comes with shallow roots, weak structure, and, higher dependence on continued feeding. Worm-driven fertility, well, it works a bit differently. Nutrients are released gradually, not all at once. Growth is, steadier and actually stronger. Roots can explore deeper layers pretty effortlessly using those worm channels. Moisture tends to stay available for a longer time. And, interestingly, plants develop resilience instead of just dependency. If you find yourself, constantly correcting problems with more and more inputs, that's often a sign the soil biology has already been disrupted. So, what do worms actually need to thrive? Well, worms don't want raw nutrients. They're really after food in the form of decomposing organic matter. Compost, aged manure, and decaying plant residues. Those are what sustain them. Plus, they also require consistent moisture, stable temperatures, and minimal disturbance. Soil moisture should feel, well, kind of like a wrung-out sponge. It should be damp but never sticky or waterlogged. Too much water actually creates oxygen-starved conditions that worms will avoid. On the other hand, too little moisture dries their skin and honestly forces them deeper or away. Temperature stability is, really critical. Bare soil heats up quickly and loses moisture fast. Mulch acts as insulation, keeping the environment below livable all year round. And finally, worms need peace. So, how do we reverse the damage and bring worms back? Well, the fix begins by stopping what's harming them. Synthetic fertilizers need to be eliminated, and deep tilling needs to stop completely. If the surface crusts, just loosen only the top 2 to 3 centimeters to allow air exchange without collapsing the structure below. Next comes feeding the soil the way nature does. Organic matter stays right on the surface. For every square meter of bed, you'll want to apply a compost layer that's about 2 to 3 centimeters thick. That equals roughly 20 to 25 liters of finished compost per square meter. If you're using aged manure, limit it to 1 centimeter, which is about 8 to 10 liters per square meter, and only when it's fully decomposed and cool to the touch. Over that organic layer, apply mulch 3 to 5 centimeters thick using straw, dried leaves, or shredded plant residue. This protects moisture, moderates temperature, and shields the food source below from drying out. Once everything is layered, water gently to settle it all in. Apply 5 to 8 liters of water per square meter. This is enough to activate biology without flooding the soil or driving oxygen out. Why no-dig gardening changes everything. When soil is left undisturbed, worms do the mixing for you. They pull organic matter downward gradually, building structure instead of destroying it. Their tunnels remain open, and microbes thrive along those pathways. Nutrients stabilize naturally. Planting becomes simpler. Instead of turning entire beds, you open small holes exactly where plants will go. Roots follow worm channels instinctively. Weeds decline as the surface stays covered. Water use drops dramatically because evaporation slows. Over time, soil becomes darker, softer, and more resilient without constant effort. The garden starts working with you instead of demanding non-stop correction. What to expect and when to expect it. Within a few weeks, worms begin appearing near the surface, especially after watering. After 6 to 8 weeks, soil texture noticeably improves. It holds moisture better while remaining airy. Around 3 months in, water infiltration increases, and plant growth stabilizes without sudden fertilizer spikes. This is not a quick fix. It is, a system reset. Each season builds on the last. Organic matter increases. Nutrient cycling becomes self-sustaining. The longer you maintain consistency, the stronger the system becomes. The mistakes that undo progress. Impatience is, honestly, the biggest enemy. Digging to check progress collapses tunnels and resets biology. Overwatering suffocates worms. Applying too much manure overwhelms soil with nitrogen. Leaving soil bare exposes worms to heat and dryness. Consistency always beats intensity. Gentle, repeated actions create lasting change. Aggressive interventions destroy it. The quiet signal of a thriving garden. When worms return, you may not notice immediately. There is no dramatic moment, but over time, the soil feels alive again. Plants root deeply, water behaves differently. Problems that once required constant fixes begin resolving themselves. That's when you know you're no longer fighting your garden, you're partnering with it. If this guide helped you see your soil differently, make sure to subscribe to Crop Corner for more real-world gardening wisdom that actually works. Share this with a fellow gardener who's still digging and dumping fertilizers, and help them bring life back into their soil too.